We made it. My name is Jason Hammer, and the day is here. It's the big game. And yes, we have to call it the big game because even though the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar company, they're so greedy, they won't let us call it what it really is.
Oh, I'll probably do it and get us pulled up the air. I'm Scott Long. Do you see this right here? This is $20. Did I win it from betting on like a football or a basketball game? No. This came from Phil Sanchez because he never thought we could last 2 years. Let's do it.
Let's go.
This is All Indiana Bets, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. We are all Caesars.
All right, let's get one thing perfectly clear. We're recording this on a Thursday because we wanted to take the entire day, just like you, to enjoy the big game. And Scott, it feels like for the first time in a while, the two best teams in the league, head-to-head, and the point spread shows it.
I can't remember the last time I think the Super Bowl felt like this was as even of a game. We were talking to Peter before the show, and he's like, well, what about the two best teams were the Eagles and the Patriots, 2018?
Both 1 seeds.
I hope it becomes that good of a Super Bowl, but that was Nick Foles versus Tom Brady. I mean, Jalen Hurts versus Mahomes, those were probably the two favorites. They're going to win the MVP in both of their leagues. I mean, this is what a big game should be.
And there are so many ways to make bets on this game. And the next hour, we are going to take you through that. We've got player props.
Right.
We've got team totals. We've got coin tosses. We've got all of that. But let's not wait any longer, Scott. Let's get to your first pick here. And look at these trends. Do these trends move the needle one way or the other for your first upcoming pick?
You know, it really kind of speaks to, if you're going to bet this game of all time, it's just whoever you think wins the game.
Right.
It says favorites. This isn't a favorites underdog type of game. It's basically one team versus the other. A lot of these trends don't truly make a lot of sense. I mean, I guess you can argue AFC or under. There's no real favorite or underdog in this game.
This is an evenly matched game here.
Pick 'em.
Pick 'em. Almost 1.5 is the line, but you can also bet on the total. And you have been rolling with your NFL picks. Again, it pains me to say something nice about you, but look at that. Would you look at it, take a picture of that, and put it in a museum? 12-2 on your last 14 NFL picks. Scott, give the people what they want.
A lot of pressure when you're 12-2, but I don't feel pressure anymore. I'm on top of the world, and here is where I begin. I'm like, you'll hear, I'm kind of like on the side of this game, but the total, I like the over. Most of these games have gone under during the playoffs, but those were played, a lot of them in cold weather, a lot of them were played with teams that were banged up. 2 weeks off, you've got two very offensive-minded coaches. I think, in Arizona, it's going to be a fast track. I like the over. It's going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be back and forth. You can give a lot of numbers on maybe 51 might be a little much. I look at this game as 54-60 total, somewhere in that neighborhood.
I'm with you on this one, and again,
really?
It just feels like when you have the two best teams, two of the best quarterbacks, certainly according to the MVP race, two of the best quarterbacks, points are going to happen. And I'm really into the over here because to me this feels like a 30-27 type of game, a 30-24 type of game. However you want to add it up, that's a recipe for the over. The Eagles are really good at coming out of the gate. They score quickly. The first few drives script it better than anybody else. But does anybody feel like Andy Reid has just been sitting around the last couple of weeks, not prepping, not doing any work? The Chiefs are going to get their points too. We'll talk about the game and the winner coming up in a little bit. But in terms of the total, I'm going over. And more important than anything else, nobody wants to root for punts when you're watching this thing at home. When you got your cooler and your Lunazol tequila and all your food, you're not rooting for turnovers, you're not rooting for punts. It's the American thing to do to bet the over in this thing.
Man, I feel like I need to stand and put my hand
Look
on
at that shirt. That's an American shirt right there.
That is, because it's the big day in American culture. And another reason why you might think it's going to go over is, speaking of punts, these are the 2 worst special teams units in all the NFL. I don't know if they don't talk about that. That's not a glamorous
Hold on, I'm getting a text from the Dallas Cowboys kicker, and he says, hold my beer. So
I'm just telling you, for the season, these were the 2 worst special teams units. And then you think, not good punters, one of them's hurt, we're not even sure who's gonna punt. And you're gonna see later, I really think one of these teams has serious kicking problems.
you can scan that QR code. It's right behind Scott's head. It's by the hair of the eagle. Scan that code. You'll get all of our picks for the big show. But if you want to have fun with your TV pals, if you want to have some drinks and hang out with us, then come on back, because we're talking about MVP. Yes, you can bet on the game MVP. We've got our thoughts. We will give that to you when we come back. We're just getting started. The biggest show of the year right here on Wish TV. It's all Indiana Bets.
All Indiana Bets is presented for the people by Caesar Sportsbook, the only sports betting app you need.
Welcome back, Jason Hammer, Scott Long, the season finale of All Indiana Bets. If you stayed with us all season long, thank you so much. And man, the options that we have for you today to bet on are limitless. We gave you the total already, and now let's turn to some individual action, the MVP of the game itself. So there you see on the screen, Scott, the odds for the MVP here. Any of these things do anything for you?
If you do a lot of research, or even a little research on this topic, you realize that the quarterbacks are going to be about 80% of the chances of being the MVP. They're the big names. It's definitely in this circumstance here. There's not a low level, kind of, for example, Nick Foles kind of guy in this game. These are MVP level quarterbacks.
And look at that jump in the odds. It goes from plus 130 to plus 1,000.
Right. So it's not a super sexy bet, but I like Jalen Hurts in this circumstance. I bet him 3 weeks ago because I have a season bet on the Eagles winning it all. So I'm like, okay, let's kind of double down on that. Here's the other part, though. Find Gardner Minshew. Sprinkle a little bit on the backup quarterback. Here's why. Is Jalen Hurts? He could be very Hurts. He did not throw the ball well 2 weeks ago. So in this big game where the Eagles are the superior team, if he comes off the mat in the first quarter and has to win the game for them, it's happened before with the Eagles, where a backup quarterback ends up winning the Super Bowl, and he's, I think, the best backup quarterback in the NFL. So sprinkle a little bit on that too. Make it fun. I like the Eagles in this game.
Now, I'm going to go at you a little bit for saying the Eagles are the superior team. You say that like it's common knowledge here.
Talent-wise.
No. Listen, I agree. It's probably going to be a quarterback. But if you're going to make this bet, get your money's worth, right? And I'm going to go with Travis Kelce here at plus 1,000. So your $10 bet could turn into $100 if Kelce catches a touchdown and maybe runs for one. They've been known to give him a little sweep action. Scoring multiple times is going to be tough to ignore, and plus 1,000 is pretty good juice for me here. All right, so let's move on from the MVP race to your second pick of the day.
Old 12-2.
Here come the glasses.
You got to put them on.
Superman's putting the cape on, baby.
Now, this is what is weird about the Super Bowl.
The what?
Did it.
The big game.
I'll see you guys later.
Roger Goodell's going to have your legs broken now, Scott. The Mafia hitmen are on their way. Now we have to write a check.
Good luck trying to get money on a check here. I'll just tell you right now, this is a circumstance where Andy Reid is the better coach in this game. I believe he is. He's got experience in this game. Sirianni does not. But Sirianni is of the new school of, gotta save those timeouts. Everything's really important, analytical. And Andy Reid's one kryptonite besides pizza buffet is this. And that is, he's not real good with time management. He's more likely to just and then what happens if Patrick Mahomes bangs up his ankle a little bit and they're like, timeout. I'm afraid to use the word timeout. Do you own that too, NFL? Give me a break here. I am a one man trying to deal with a game I love and I can't even speak about it. Hammer, please.
This is what I love about the big game, is that you can bet on things like this. You can bet on who's going to call the first timeout. And you can bet on, will either team successfully win a challenge? And you get plus money? Are you serious? Everybody loves to throw the challenge flag. Anytime there's something that we think is a catch, probably isn't, because nobody understands what a catch is anymore.
Oh.
I am here for this one. This is one of my favorite plays of the day. Well, either team, doesn't matter if it's the Eagles or the Chiefs, could be both, I don't know. Somebody's gonna throw that challenge flag. Somebody's going to win one. And at plus 130, that is good juice for this type of bet. Make that bet, go home a winner. Thank me tomorrow. Now, coming up next, this is the season finale of the Long Shot and Degenerate special.
Wait a minute, it doesn't even seem fair. Give these people a second to take that in. We're sorry. We can't make the NFL last longer. I'm up for a 22-week season, aren't you?
I'm here for it. But man, the long shot of long shots, the most degenerate of degenerate picks, coming up right after this on All Indiana Bets.
The Long Shot, presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook.
There's a single tear coming out of my eye knowing this is the last long shot of the season. Scott Long, your long shots have been hitting for not 1, but 2 years now. Let's finish off with a bang, my friend.
Exciting. Just like everything seems so great about it, and then you're going to see this, and you're like, well, this is a weird long shot.
All that hype for this?
Either team to miss an extra point. So plus 300, that means put out $1, you get 3. That's pretty good right there, right? We can all have a little fun with that. It's like playing the lottery, but it's not really like playing the lottery because there's a problem. One of these two kickers, neither of these kickers are very good, but one of them, Harrison Butker,
excuse me,
has not been a butt kicker this past few months. Last couple months, he's not been kicking that well. He was a great kicker last year. I'm listening to Jay Feely talk about it earlier this week. The expert former kicker works for CBS in that capacity, and he's saying he thinks he's hurt. He's been kind of pulling back a little bit, impacting his accuracy. Butker's missed some extra points this season. It's not like it used to be. So, wow, what kind of info is that? That's a lot of info for this show. I'm telling you, in that segment alone, I put more time into it than a whole Tony Romo effort. What is that guy doing lately?
Plus 300 for a missed extra point.
Yeah.
And you're very proud of the research that you've done.
I tell you when I've done the research, because it doesn't happen that often.
You want research? I'll give you
Yes!
research, baby. Cue it up. Let's do a special big game edition of the Degenerate Special. All right. I, too, have done a little research here, and we're talking about the coin toss. Yes, you can bet on the coin toss here, and I'm in on tails. Why am I in on tails? I'm glad that you asked. When you break down the totals of the previous big games, the majority have been tails. 29 times it has been tails to just 27 times it's been heads. The last 2 years have been heads. So this tells me, as a bettor, I know there's no science to back it up, tails is due. It's overwhelmingly the trend, and it's due. And if you need anything else, I'm gonna take you down a rabbit hole here. If we had a tinfoil hat around here, I would put that bad boy on. I got a friend who spoke to a friend who works at the company where they make the commemorative coins for the big game. And he told my friend of a friend, that the heads is designed in a way, the way that it protrudes a little bit to make it just a little bit heavier. So when you flip that bad boy up, there's more of a chance that it's going to have the heavy part go down to the ground, which means tails is on the upside. That's science. That's research. And if you don't think my friend of a friend knows what he's talking about, we can't be friends. All I'm saying is tails is the play here. Bet on the coin toss and get your big game off running. That's what I'm talking about, people.
Oh, I so love when old tinfoil Jason pops up out of nowhere.
Tinfoil hat, baby. Put it on and wear it with pride.
I'm not down with that, but that is absolutely as degenerate as it gets to have nothing to do with football and you're betting on it. I am not betting on, by the way, the national anthem. Are you gonna bet on that? Like how much time it's
I
gonna
will
be?
bet on two fat guys playing catch outside in the parking lot, Scott. I'll bet on as many things as I can.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I've got a little bet. It's hard to find. It's not Caesars. They don't have it. I've got a little money I sprinkled on Chinese balloon over the top of the stadium.
Wow,
Talk
it's
about
back.
tinfoil. That's going to be exciting. Who knows what'll happen next?
And speaking of who knows what'll happen next, we're gonna go to the bar. Yes, they give us a fully loaded bar to play with, and we have got our locks for the big game. We're having a lot of fun today. We hope you are too. Come on back, it's all Indiana Bets.
The Lunazul Lock is brought to you by Lunazul Tequila.
It's science that if you buy Lunazol tequila, your bets will hit during the big game.
Seems
Who am
fair.
I to argue with science?
Well, I see it sitting right behind us.
Baby.
Thank you, Evan Williams. Of course, Heavenly Hill, who owns Lunazol Tequila as well as the sponsor. And hey, Mountain Dew, step it up next year. You should be sponsoring this show.
We mix Diet Mountain Dew with the Lunazol tequila. And Scott, remind the people what this drink is called.
It is the nectar of all gods.
It's the nectar of the gods.
Oh, it's so delicious. And you know what? That's what's so great about this show. If you don't know, if you haven't seen it, this is your first time, and you got a big game happening, and you're like, oh, I want to put some picks on it. We have drinks. We have jokes. We try to gamble. And we do it really well a lot of the times. I feel like I should take my shirt out here.
Uh-oh,
Be a
here
little-
we go.
I'm gonna
Give
be-
the people what they
I'm
want.
going to be Vegas Scott for this episode here.
Mr. Furley has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to the people who still remember that reference.
I knew I forgot my ascot. It had to be Mr. Furley or Charles Woodson, who believes, I guess, that he is the Mr. Furley of his time. Now we're going to get to the Lunazol locks. Okay, so this is... Soak it in, everybody. I didn't even lose a bet, and I'm looking like this. This is what 6 hours sleep looks like versus my typical 3 for this show. Yes, you're looking at it. I'm not giving you a side in this game. I lean Eagles. I don't feel strongly about it, but what I would love to see happen, this is a game where you can live bet. Maybe you don't usually live bet because you're watching the Colts and you're focused, or you're watching the red zone, you got too much action going on. Just one game. Let's live bet it. Kind of get a feel for the game. Let's say the way I think this game is going to unfold. Eagles win the coin flip. They go down the field. They score a touchdown. I'm betting the Chiefs at this point because I'm probably getting about -4. I'd like to have the Chiefs the whole game. at +4. So there's a circumstance, instead of being +1.5, they're +4. I like them in that spot. So that is my live bet of the year. Let's have fun with this game. It's not just nachos and drinks. It's live betting.
It is. That is so right. Because whoever scores first, somebody's going to score first. You're going to have better odds than the line right now. By the way, if somebody ever asked me, what would somebody want to wear to be the sexiest guy in a fireworks store? This is the answer right here.
That's the best joke of the year. Dang it! I'm a comedian, and he used my incredible prop as a dynamite joke. And nice shirt, by the way. You're wearing the iconic.
Look at this.
Kansas
Look at
City
that.
first Super Bowl. Len Dawson. There's a photo of him smoking a heater, and there's a Fresca.
There it is.
Hey, you know what? We'll put Fresca in with the tequila if you'll sponsor us.
Absolutely. Have Fresca, we will talk. But in honor of this amazing shirt, we're channeling the spirit of Len Dawson today. And this is the big one. This is it. Everybody and their brother is on the Eagles, right? The Vegas line came out. The Chiefs were a favorite for like 5 minutes at just a hook, 0.5. All the money. Everybody went to the Eagles. Everybody loves Jalen Hurts. Everybody loves this Eagles defense. Well, not me. I don't love the Eagles defense. I don't like Nick Sirianni, to be honest with you. The way that I look at this, these are evenly matched teams. And I've always said, if the better quarterback is getting points, that's where I go. Not only do I have the better quarterback, I've got the better coach. So factor these things in. I do think it's a close game, but give me Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, I know the ankle's banged up, but guess what? Hurts is banged up too. I like Mahomes in this one. Second-year sensations don't win big games. Patrick Mahomes has been there. He's won one. He's lost one. He's going to win another one. I'm in on the Chiefs. It says +1.5. Go money line. Take Kansas City on the money line. That spread isn't big enough to make a difference. Kansas City is my play today. Now, we've got a guy coming up.
Wait a minute. How am I not in the movie Swingers? I mean, look at me here.
You're so money, baby, you don't even know it. You know who else looks good? You know who else could be the sexiest guy in a fireworks store? This guy,
He totally
the
is.
Cash Man. That's a big, hairy American winning machine, and he is primed and ready to give you his plays for the big game. The Cash Man, next.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for. You know the face, you know the name. He's a regular when it comes to college football here on All Indiana Bets. So you knew we had to bring him on for the big game, right? Of course, we're talking about Alan Cashman, a.k.a. the Cashman, thecashmanwins.com. And Cashman, let's get right into it. The game everyone's talking about, the game everyone wants to pick on, the game everyone's going to be watching with their families in their living rooms later today. Give us your pick for IUPUI versus Northern Kentucky.
I don't have anything on that one, Peter, but I do have a play for the big game on Sunday. We got the Chiefs and the Eagles here. I think this has the chance to be one of the better Super Bowls that we've seen in recent memory. Both teams very similar in passing offense when you look at the numbers. Neither team's particularly great on run defense, not a strong point for either team, but Philly has been a very good pass defensive team. Since week 6, the Eagles defense has recorded 3 or more sacks in 12 of 13 games, 42 sacks in their last 8 games. And then the Philadelphia defense, #1 in yards per pass allowed, also #1 in passing yards per game allowed. And you look at turnovers, Kansas City even in turnover margin this season, Philadelphia +12 in turnover margin for the season. It's hard for me to go against Pat Mahomes in this game, but I see some advantages for Philadelphia on defense that I like. I'm going to have a small play on the Eagles money line for this one. Also grabbed overtime last week at +1,000 because I think this is going to be a close game, and I think there's a lot of value in that +1,000 in overtime here.
I guess there's a football game going on today. That's the pick you just gave. We'll get the IUPUI Northern Kentucky pick from the cashmanwins.com later today. Speaking of, you've got a show that you're doing every weekend in conjunction with the cashmanwins.com. Tell us about it and where people can get your picks.
I do. 11 a.m. on Saturdays, we're doing the Cashman's Playbook on Twitter and YouTube at the Cashman Wins, both places. We've been giving out college basketball plays every week. We're 8-2 in college basketball the first 3 weeks on the show. And then if you want to become a Picks member, you can also go to thecashmanwins.com. We've got a Super Bowl special, 1 year, all sports for $49. That's going to take you all the way through the end of next football season as well for every sport that I hand out.
He's the best there is. He's creating his own content now, but of course, we're always thankful that he comes on and shares his expertise and knowledge with us. Cashman, we appreciate you as always. We'll talk to you again next football season.
Thank you, Peter.
Now, I noticed something different about the Cashman there, Scott. I think he took a page out of your playbook and decided to slowly put the glasses on to help kickstart the winning. Because when you put the glasses on,
it works.
That's when the winning happens.
And he said he's 8-2 since the glasses happened. I think it's all about the glasses. And I have my own line of winning glasses that I sell now.
The All Indiana Bets merch store is now available. Give me another pick. Give me your final pick of this day.
Of the season.
Oh, man.
That hurts. But it's not Jalen Hurts. No, it is Patrick Mahomes. There's a lot of negativity coming out of me on the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm sorry, Hammer. I think Patrick Mahomes will probably have a ton of completions. But I just think he's going to get beat down. The offensive line for the Chiefs is not as good as people think it is. They just bring. The seventh lineman for the Eagles is Sue. It's unbelievable. He's like almost a Hall of Famer. I just think the Chiefs are going to give up problems, and Patrick Mahomes, at certain points, he'll make magic happen, but he's also going to make an interception. 0.5, I'm not sprinkling, I'm dumping. That one is a moneymaker.
So even though I have been on the Chiefs for most of my plays today, I've got an Eagles play for you, and we're talking about touchdown scorers here. Now, I'm not a big guy that likes to bet the first touchdown of the game. Maybe I will this game because it is what it is, but I hate betting first touchdown because if you don't win the coin toss, you're at, the short hairs here. I don't like that. I'm going to go anytime touchdown with Dallas Goedert of the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is a guy that likes to hit the tight ends up, and this is a guy that's been a target recently. So anytime touchdown. Doesn't have to be the first, doesn't have to be the last. You can put this with a parlay if you want to do it, plus 175. I like those odds. I like plus money. All he has to do is to get into the end zone once. Scott and I both have the over today. We think there's going to be points, and if it's a point-scoring game, Goddard finds the end zone.
I like that one. That was almost a pick of mine. And then I kind of did what you're saying not to do. I've already bet first touchdown, Dallas Goedert.
Okay.
Plus 900. So you're like, I don't even know how to pronounce Goddard.
Goedert.
And
Goddard.
I don't, yeah, and it's like Gogurt.
It is.
Dallas Gogurt. I like that name a lot, but I just think tight ends are the place to throw the ball in the red zone. And guess what? Hopefully we get a new coach in Indianapolis who believes in that, because we have had Gogurt for tight ends the last 2 or 3 seasons.
And if you thought that was a stretch, coming up next, we have got more prop bets for you, because that's what this game's all about, right? Prop bets, having fun. We're going to play the final edition of Prop, Lock, or Drop It. That's coming up next.
There it is. Oh, Hammer. If you don't know Prop, Lock, or Drop, it is 100% creation of a Jason Hammer.
There's no off switch on this genius panel.
So we'll see if he actually wins with them. That's another thing. Very clever idea. First up, Eagles QB, Jalen Hurts, over-under for pass attempts, set at 32.5. Wow. Lock or drop?
I am going to drop this one down low, because the way you beat the Kansas City Chiefs is by running the football. Now, there will be points this game. At least we think they are. We hope that there are, at least according to our bets. But the Eagles will try to run the ball. You don't want your quarterback, who's coming off of a nasty shoulder injury, to be dropping back more than 35 times. That's not going to happen. Unless this is some sort of shootout where the Chiefs are way out in front, the Eagles are going to try to run the ball. So we're going to go under 32.5 passing attempts for Jalen Hurts.
Next up, one of my favorites, a 7th round pick, Chiefs running back Isaiah the Fight Doctor Pacheco. Over-under for his longest rush of the game is set at 13.5. Mr. Hammer, do you luck or do you drop?
I believe it was the Beastie Boys who once said, and I quote, drop! We are going to drop this down under. I think he's going to get some carries, might end up with the proper yardage you need to hit a bet. But asking him to rip off a 14-yard run, I don't see it. I don't think that's happening. Now, you could get 7s, you could get 9s, you might even get a 10. But I think this is just too many yards. This is an under.
Next, Chiefs tight end, Travis Kelce, Hammer's under the radar MVP of this big game. Over-under for receiving yards is set at 80.5. Let me guess. Do you luck? No, you're not going to drop, right?
No. We are going to lock this bad boy in because when the Chiefs ultimately made the decision to part ways with Tyreek Hill, they didn't go out and find another alpha wide receiver. They put all of their faith in Travis Kelce getting open in big games. And guess what? Travis Kelce gets open in big games. He's the safety valve for Patrick Mahomes. And keep in mind, Patrick Mahomes is one of the best quarterbacks in the league at eluding the pass rush. Now, he's banged up a little bit, but he can still move. We saw that last week. He's going to get away, then it becomes a playground game. And no two people in the league have a better playground-style connection than Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So I love this. We're going over with this. I think he gets in the end zone and gets over the yardage.
The final prop locker drop of 2023 NFL season. This is a team prop over-under for TDs total by the Chiefs set at 2.5.
We are going to lock this one in as an over. The Chiefs are scoring 3 touchdowns. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. The Chiefs are scoring 3 touchdowns in this game. Whether you think they're going to win, whether you think they're going to lose, they're scoring 3 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes is not leaving anything on the table today. They're going to get in the end zone. They're going to have to. They're going to go for it on 4th downs. Last game of the year, Brent. Can't hold anything back now. Over is the play. Lock that in.
Hey, my producer just told me that no one asked you to be louder. There's no part. Maybe you go softer and maybe you get attention. Neither one of us really have a problem with projecting our voices.
No.
I don't even know why they have these microphones. I guess for other people that do this job. It's the same with these teleprompters. I mean, I know people aren't supposed to tell you what goes on. Easiest job in the world is to be the person running the camera for us.
Right.
Just set it. Well, there's one hard thing, looking at us. That is the only problem.
Right.
And this shirt. So now, what do we got next? Speaking of producers.
Oh, man.
Don't tease me, bro.
Producer Peter's got a teaser. That, my friends, is coming up next on All Indiana Bets.
Presented for the people by Caesars Sportsbook. Your first bet is on Caesars. Bet up to $1,250. And if you don't win, you'll get it back as a free bet. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and over.
If you're just joining us, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. The big one, the big game. Scott, who you got?
You see it. Take a snapshot. I've been winning. Why wouldn't you want to win? And this is the segment that a lot of people love because there's usually food coming up. We don't have food for this episode. So I present out of my pocket.
Oh, look at
A
that.
lovely flower. This is for my wife and my daughter who watch the show every week. I give that to both of them. Maddie, Susan, I stole it from Lifestyle Live.
I have nothing for my family, but these are my picks. Knock yourself out. We're going to win so much money. You can buy a family if you want. That's my plan here. That's Scott's plan. We're going to get rich today. Now, producer Peter, the one thing that we have not yet talked about is teasers. Teasers for the big game.
No.
All the pressure's on you, my friend. Deliver. Let's go.
So there's, like you said, there's a lot of different ways you can bet the game. And if you're someone like me who doesn't really lean either side in terms of -1.5, +1.5, here's what you do. Do you really think even if the Chiefs lose this game, they're going to lose by more than a touchdown? I don't. I could see the Eagles winning. I could see the Eagles winning by a field goal. I could see the Eagles winning by 6 to 7 points. I have a hard time seeing the Chiefs get blown out in this game. So what we're going to do for the teaser, we're going to take Kansas City up to +7.5, and we're going to pair that with the over. I like the over just like you guys. I like it at 51. I like it even better at 45. This teaser right here is about -130 odds. So you're getting pretty decent value, and I like what we got there. 2 player props for you, one for each team. Kenneth Gainwell, over 1.5 receptions for the Eagles. Kind of a quirky pick, but if you look at the numbers, no one has given up more catches to running backs this year than the Kansas City Chiefs. Gainwell is Philadelphia's pass-catching running back, and this could be a game script where Philly has to throw the ball a bunch. We'll go over 1.5 for Kenny Gainwell. And then the last one, Pat Mahomes, over 19.5 rushing yards. I know the ankle's banged up, but if you think for 1 second Patrick Mahomes is going to be protecting that ankle in this game, you're crazy. This dude's as competitive as they come. He might have to run for his life a few times in this game because that Eagles pass rush, we know how legit it is, and they've actually struggled a lot because of that this year, containing mobile quarterbacks. So those are the 3 picks. I just want to know one thing. Where you guys at with IUPUI Northern Kentucky? Cashman didn't give me a pick earlier, so let's hear it.
Well, I was just gotten some flash information from the statistical people here. Nielsen ratings go off the charts when Disco Scott happens.
Boom.
Let's make it
Look
happen,
at
baby.
that.
Let's look at this. Look at that, everybody. Winners right there. Losers sometimes he and I. But hey, personally, nothing to do with our picks.
And thank you to producer Peter, because all season long,
Yeah.
he's had to deal with us. We've made fun of the way he looks,
Yeah.
the way he talks, the way his hair looks, the way he...
Facts. I'm
pretty much
sorry.
everything about him. But he's been a good sport about everything. And this has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that management told me to start being nice to Peter.
Oh, and hey, I'm taking this away from my daughter and my wife. I'm giving this to Peter now.
See, look at that. Your favorite
peace,
TV pals here. Look, it's never too soon to start thinking about next year. Odds for next year are already out.
Really?
Let's talk about that and have a proper farewell when we wrap this show up next. Scott, look at that. The odds for next year already on the board.
That's exciting. I don't see the Colts. Where are the Colts in the top 5, top 10? Oh, we see them right now.
Not in the top 10.
Okay, I think they're 28th. The Dolphins would be my choice. I like the number there. And Vic Fangio is the DC, who I think is the best in the game. So that'd be my under the radar pick.
I think you can get good value with Cincinnati at +900. The Bengals, though, have to have home field advantage. They have to take that regular season a little more seriously. They got to come out of the gate and establish themselves instead of having to scramble late in the season. But +900 with Joe Burrow, I'll absolutely take that.
Okay, what did we decide the Colts were? Plus what?
+7,500. So if you think the Colts are going to win it all, +7,500.
And in that spirit, let's get some spirits in our bellies.
Look at this.
Lunazol tequila.
Proud sponsor of all Indiana bets.
Thank you, Caesars. Thank you, Lunazol and Evan Williams. It's time to have a drink.
Let's do it. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. And thank you
That
guys
is really good. That is really good.
who have been watching our show for 2 years, Who knows what is in the future? But
Right.
we have been picking winners. So follow us. I'm at scottcomedy.com on Twitter and Instagram.
At Jason Allen Hammer on Twitter and the Hammer and Nigel Show on the radio.
Oh, yeah, that's a good show. I've heard things about it.
Thank you. Good luck, everybody. Enjoy the game. Enjoy time with your friends and family. And we'll talk to you soon right here on Wish TV, all Indiana bets. Enjoy the big game, baby. It's finally here.